Hello everyone, so welcome back. First thing, as promised, we're fixing up this first part here so that the camera can move all around, and also so instead of sort of walking backwards, the character just sort of turns and faces. So this is good because we don't actually have an animation for walking backwards or strafing left to right. So the other sort of controller panel we sort of had there, it's good for if you're doing like a sword fighting game that's sort of like you're trying to strafe around, but we're not doing that for this one. We're just trying to come up with a very simple sort of adventure sort of game and everything. So if we, the way we fix that is we've got to go all the way up here to self, and the key you want to change is this one right here. So by default that is turned on. So use character rotation yaw. So if we go here, that's where it does this sort of thing, which just looks a little bit weird. And again, if you've got a strafing animation to play moving forward, left and right, then it looks okay, or backwards walking. But because we don't, because we just have that one walk cycle, yeah, we're just going to keep it with the other method, which is just going to be disabling that one right there, clicking compile, and pressing here and working it there. So now this will depend really on how well your character sort of looks. Here you can see it really doesn't seem to match having this speed. The way we have it right here, he's sort of like running, but just sort of running on the spot. So another thing I wanted to point out is if we go here to character movement, we can actually change our max walk speed. At the moment it's set to 300. Yours might be set higher. Let's just sort of set that to 600 and see if that improves it any. Cool. That's looking a bit better. Okay, so we might just sort of stick with that just for now, just for 600 and everything. And what we'll look at is how we can transition from a walk to a run. So a few things we just need to change up a bit and everything. First of all, if we go into our character here, we can put in an input for left shift. And that's just going to allow us to sort of press the left shift button and have something happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually change that max walk speed that we just changed here. So we're going to change it so that it only goes up to 600 if you press it. And then as soon as you release it, it's going to go back to say 300. Okay, so we're going to go here first. So first of all, we need to access this. So how do we access any of these variables? Well, we can left click and drag here to drag this into the thing. And now this has access to all the other things that we just had in there. So if I type in max walk speed, I can actually set the max walk speed here, which is really useful. So I can now go here and press that, and so press it and then change it to 600. So that's going to be hold down shift, go into the run cycle. But we need to have something there for when we release it. So I'm going to copy and paste that down here and connect it up there, and then change that to 300. Okay, so just to test to see if this is working, oh sorry, it's always going to ask for a target. You've got to make sure you plug it down here to that, otherwise it won't work. So now let's just sort of test it and see if it works. I'm going to go set that max walk speed by default back down to 300, not 3000. 3000 would be disastrous. So we'll save that, and now when we go in here and we press play, slow to start with, hold down shift, and it's much faster. But as you can notice, it's still not transitioning. So this is where we've got to change up our blend space a bit. So we go here to our blend space. We can see that it's set to movement speed here is at 50, and here it's 100. So basically if it's 100 or over, it's going to go straight to the run cycle. Now that's a bit of a problem considering that our default walk speed is 300. But we don't want to change this now. I mean, we could go back here and change these values here, but I kind of like the movement it's got there. So what I'm going to do is just change this graph a bit. So here it says maximum X value. I'm going to just change that to 600. And now that middle move speed there is set at 300, and that one right at the end there is set to 600, so you can't see it because Unreal likes having a lot of notifications come here. I know there's no good place to put notifications, but there is definitely not a good one because it does just hide things. So anyway, but now let's just sort of test that and see how that is working. So if we press play here, now we've got that nice walk animation, and then if I hold down shift, goes into the run. I release it, goes right back to the walk. So play around with that a bit. Again, your walk animation when you do yours might be a little bit different. You might want to have like a faster walk cycle or a slower one or a crawling sort of one if you're doing a stealth game and everything. But anyway, that is that. So in the next session, what I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to put in the jump